Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Kirby's Dream Land 3 on the Super Nintendo. I played this via the online service. I don't know, I was just kind of craving another Kirby game. I like Kirby. I don't necessarily think his games are always amazing, but I like the character himself, so occasionally I get the itch to play out a Kirby game, especially one like this that I have never played before, so I was really excited to dive right in and see what it was all about. The story is typical Kirby riffraff. Basically a bunch of evil clouds come around to the planet Popstar. That's where Kirby and friends reside, and they started possessing things and making things evil. So Kirby is tasked to go out and fight the evil clouds and get rid of it, and he will do it with a blank face the whole way through. There are two unique things about this game that come to mind compared to other Kirby games. The first being the art style, and I really actually enjoyed the art style in this. It kind of looks like colored pencils, but in 16-bit graphics. So it's a really unique art style, and I'm actually pretty surprised that this game has never received a remake, a remaster of some kind, because they were able to remake a couple of the older Kirby games for the Game Boy Advance, but I've never seen anything like this, and I think it would look really unique with that colored pencil art design, but in modern day graphics. The second thing that makes this game unique is the friends, and you have an assortment of friends this time around, about 7 or 8 of these animal friends, which you can basically interact with, and that just completely changes up Kirby's whole moveset. So you really only have about 5, 6, maybe 7 different power-ups that Kirby has access to, but if you are interacting with a friend, then they have that whole moveset completely different. So I want to say combination-wise, it is the most diverse when it comes to abilities, as far as any Kirby game that I know of. I don't know off the top of my head if that fact is true or not, but it seems to be that way, and it was fun trying out all the different friends and seeing how all of Kirby's abilities kind of like combined, mixed with these friend abilities, and it was just interesting to see how they were able to pull that off. For instance, if you have the cat friend, if he kind of like rolls Kirby around like a ball, if Kirby has the electric ability, then the cat kind of rubs and builds up static electricity using the Kirby ball, and then he can roll around this electric ball that will just destroy anyone. If you use the bird friend with the electric ability, then all of a sudden Kirby can control the bird like this remote control drone that is electrified, and you can then control the bird around to destroy enemies. I don't know, it's just fun to see the clever ways that they were able to do that. You are also always aided by one additional friend named Gooey, and this is where the second player mode would come into play. Think similar to like Sonic and Tails, where Gooey is kind of like the little brother mode. Like when your mom gets mad at you for not including your little brother, you can have him play as Gooey. If you are playing single player, you are able to just eat him and not use him at all, which I did because I found Gooey to be quite annoying. He ended up taking a lot of my healing items and everything like that, and I just wanted him out of the way. So occasionally I would press the A button, which would summon him, and it takes a little bit of Kirby's health away to summon him, but you can just eat him right up and then just be done with him until you accidentally hit the A button again. There are blocks throughout the level that have these little signs that indicate which power you need in order to interact with these blocks. Usually behind these were just additional healing items and 1-ups, but occasionally you would need to access these blocks in order to get a heart star, and heart stars are these collectibles hidden throughout each level, and in order to fully complete the game and fight the final boss true to Kirby fashion, you would need to collect all of these heart stars as you progress through the level. Sometimes I felt like the requirements in order to obtain these heart stars wasn't always clear for you to do, and in which case a walkthrough, a guide, was very beneficial. Usually before I hopped into the level, I would hurry and look up what was needed to be done in order to obtain that heart star, because I didn't want to replay the level over and over again just trying to figure it out. Oftentimes you are required to have a certain ability and friend combination, and you aren't told that ahead of time, so you just have to I guess you just figured it out back in the day. I was able to get all of the heart stars, however, doing this walkthrough guide, and the final boss, you know, you never really feel like you completed the Kirby game until you fight the crazy evil final boss. I did like that you could use the powers underwater too. In most modern Kirby games, when you are underwater, unless you're holding like a shield or a hammer, you're just going to be blowing bubbles. In this one, any ability would work underwater, which, like, why doesn't every Kirby game have this? Why does it kick you out of your power if you're underwater, unless you're holding certain abilities? I just have never gotten that, and I enjoyed the ability to blow fire underwater. Kirby himself did control pretty clunky, however. This game is definitely feeling pretty dated by today's Kirby standards compared to Kirby Star Allies. I don't know, Kirby just felt very slow and sluggish, and anytime you were using an ability, there was no mobility while you were using your power, you know? Like, you couldn't move when you were using an ability. I believe this game was a direct predecessor to Kirby and the Crystal Shards 64, because I saw a lot of similarities, a lot of character designs, a lot of music that Kirby and the Crystal Shards took from this game, which I thought they were original to Kirby and the Crystal Shards, but this game has like that painter named Addo, I think. Lots of enemy designs that I recognize in Kirby 64. Even the music itself is just like a 16-bit version of Kirby and the Crystal Shards soundtrack, which is very nice because I always really liked Kirby 64. That was my first Kirby game, so that's why it holds such a soft place in my heart, and it was nice to see where that game got a lot of its roots. The music is just so good. I really enjoy Kirby music, and this game was no exception. Definitely something that I will listen to afterwards. They even have that mini game at the end of Kirby and the Crystal Shards where Kirby will like swing his arms back and forth, and depending on which angle his arms are at is how far he jumps, and that's what item you obtain. And they have that mini game at the end of each level here as well. It's just not in 3D. I kind of wish that I played this game before Kirby Star Allies, because there was a lot of references from this game in that game, even just like all his animal friends. They make a lot of appearances. I don't know, I just kind of wish that I had the background of this game going into that game. I always think it's fun when Nintendo games do these crossovers too. Like one that comes to mind is Mario and Luigi. They had a couple of Nintendo characters playing that like a vending machine game. It's been a while since I played that one, but this one also has Nintendo character crossovers. One, in order to get one of the heart stars, you have to assemble all the parts of Rob, the robot who originally came out with the NES. He was like a peripheral toy for that. Originally, I thought he made his first reoccurrence in Mario Kart for the Nintendo DS, but no, even before that, he was in this Super Nintendo game, which I thought was interesting. But the coolest Nintendo crossover in this game would be the Metroids and Samus. So in order to get one of the Star Hearts, you have to destroy a couple of these Metroids, and they're only vulnerable to ice abilities. So that's kind of like one example that I was talking about earlier, where you needed to know that only the ice ability could harm these Metroids. Otherwise, you would have had no idea. But once you do defeat all of these Metroids at the end of the level, Samus Aran, with her helmet off even, she gives you one of the Star Hearts, which I thought was really cool seeing Samus in a Kirby game. There is a character who did not make an appearance in this game, however, and that was Meta Knight. I might be mistaken. Actually, I don't think he made an appearance in Kirby and the Crystal Shards. You think I would know that, it being my favorite Kirby game and all, but I don't think he was in that one, and he's not in this one. King Dedede is, of course, in this game. However, he is like the final boss, but not really. He's like the final boss if you didn't collect all of the heart stars, but he's all possessed, and his stomach turns into this giant mouth. I don't know, it's crazy. These black cloud things that possess things are pretty trippy and scary, but once you defeat King Dedede, that's when you go to the true final boss. Overall, it was pretty basic as far as Kirby games go. The aesthetic and the friends combination ability type thing really made this game stand apart, but gameplay wise, it was still just a Kirby game. You know pretty much what to expect here. I think I will give this game a 3 out of 5. I'm just surprised it's taken me this long to finally play it. I'm glad that I finally have that Kirby notch in my belt. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about Kirby's Dream Land 3 or Kirby in general, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'll talk to you later. Bye!